Yo, what is up, you guys? It's your boy Shalkumer, and in this video, we will cover a plus 27 multi-class key, Galakrond's Fall. It's one of my, let's say, less favorite keys, simply because I really do not like to play the second boss, although I think I have gotten quite decent at it finally. Took me almost whole season though. But yeah, it's not a very fun boss to heal as this. But I think as long as the mechanics are handled at least somewhat properly, it's not that bad. Basically, this trash is, I think, in most weeks, pretty free. You know, I can see some difficulties being on weeks like, you know, raging or bolstering and stuff like that, but you know, this start of the dungeon is pretty free. There's a couple of options people do here. It's either skip or kill all of this. Some people also like to skip like the first part and then pull the second part into the boss. I guess you could do whatever your preference is, you know, for the percentage. I'm also not playing Master Spell here. I just don't like playing Master Spell at the moment. I don't know, even on Bursting Week, I feel like having one every 2 minutes, it just doesn't feel very good. It's like a very heavy investment because we have so many good class talents at the moment that, like, you know, I could grab some extra defense or a lot of other things. And it's like, you know, bursting is something we can play around by like not killing everything at the same time, or, you know, me saving some cooldowns and stuff. I think the hardest part about bursting is, as a disc, it's when the pack dies and then they all just sit AFK thinking that like, oh, let's give healer time to heal, but the problem is the way we heal is by actually having something to hit, especially at the moment now with this current build with the Mindbender and Smites, and I think it's we just need a target to heal. So worth noting, if you're playing in pre-med group, you know, maybe organize big pulls so that like one or two mobs stay alive, you know, for a reason that you can like heal up through them. Because really our throughput is much higher when we are dealing damage as opposed to just like straight up healing. Otherwise, I would suggest maybe saving Halo plus 2 Radiance, but yeah, and then dispelling the squishiest target or the target that doesn't have defensives. Again, if you're in pre-made, you can coordinate that. You can be like, okay, you pop this defensive, they pops this defensive, and I will heal the rest. So yeah, there's ways to survive it even without master spell. In pugs, sadly, you know,
Bait.
things sometimes get out of hand. It really depends. Yeah,
Out.
depends. But honestly, the way I see it, if you're pushing high keys, if they don't like play around bursting, that's kind of fun on them, you know, like you do your best obviously to heal up and stuff, but what else can you do? Anyway, this boss, again, kind of a free boss. Like, what I like to do is I like to have like atonement on everyone as the sand is coming, and then I like to like go
Bait.
in the, like, you know, weird positions so I don't bother like
Out.
DPSers. Like, it's like heal up as the damage is going, and then like as you can see, like this chrono shear, you want to like help tank heal the top, especially on tyrannical, and then dispel it as
Bait.
soon as possible. Everything else is again
Out.
kind of like a lot of bad stuff. That's pretty basic stuff, yeah.
Out.
Like honestly, this boss is like
Out.
so not engaging that I'm literally gonna skip through it. Like there's just nothing worth mentioning on this boss. Alright, now packs. Yeah, these packs are a bit yikes. Yeah, I was not prepared. I think the
Hit.
highest fall I've done prior to this key was like 24 or something. And then I got invited for this, and it was quite difficult. It's quite a step up. I just have not pushed much
Hit.
this season, so now I'm slowly getting back into it. This chrono, whatever it's called, we call it chrono burst. Yeah, chrono burst. It's so dangerous. I mean, look at
Hit.
that. Look at that. He was, I mean, pretty much full, honestly. Like, look. Okay, he's missing 60 HP. I dispel him and he's dead. Now, one thing I want to say is that like, he could have pressed Barkskin. Yeah, he should have pressed Barkskin or went to bear form. I know that sucks to say as like you know, a DPS player. You never want to be really in bear form. That
Kick.
feels shitty. I also should have dispelled DH here first as well. Like thinking, you know, logically now in retrospective, makes more sense to dispel like the melee players so they can go back in. But at the same time, I also want to dispel the person that I know is squishier. So I think what I did makes sense as well from the healer POV. It's just about like what do you prioritize? Like you see, like
Kick.
he just dies here. Like I actually don't know why he died. Like did he just bleed out? He was half HP. Oh, it expired when he was half HP. Yeah. See, like I tried to save him, but I was a bit too slow. I honestly think I had a little bit. Like I thought I had more time. Basically, what I'm trying to say, guys, is these packs on Fortified are pretty difficult. Luckily this key is very lenient with time, so I think even if you like wipe here a few times, you can still time even high keys. Like I've seen like higher keys than 27 being timed with multiple deaths in this section. So don't let it bother you too much, but obviously try your best to keep people alive. That's not to say that, you know, just because you can't wipe, you should wipe. Uh, of course not. Just, you know, just trying to keep everybody alive as always. Yeah, as you can see, like this is just like a system of priorities basically. There's gonna be a lot of bleeds. These guys are gonna put like a magic dot on two people. This one, yeah. So you always want to dispel the person that's in like let's say more danger of dying. So, you know, usually I like, unless it's a tank specific debuff that I know is very dangerous, I usually tend to give like tanks lowest priority on this spell because I know they will not die. Yeah. Yeah, I just know like he has like, you know, cooldowns running, he's tanky, I'm healing him as well. So they're just like more sustainable usually. Whereas if I don't dispel the DPS, I'll just have to like funnel all the heals into that DPS to keep them alive until my dispel is ready. But for that reason, I usually will dispel. For this particular, by the way, I'm talking about this particular debuff. There's obviously some debuffs where tanks would get priority and stuff like that. But for this particular debuff, I do let like tanks take it. That'll be DPS. I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly how it works, but from my like observation, I think it always goes on one random DPS or healer and one end on tank. Like, seems to be. But I'm not sure if that's like really how it works or not. And here I kind of like push it out a little bit and I stopped the reds. That was. But anyway, we res up. We go again. See another chrono burst, and here I'm a little bit more focused. I honestly, like, I should have been dead here. That was a good nether walk by DH. Like, I feel like I should have been dead there. Like, this has to be like that's enervate. Like, that needs to be interrupted. There's no way that's like the full channel of that should have stayed. But yeah, you do be like that sometimes. And then again, chrono burst. Again, I'll prio dispelling. Bear, not the bear, sorry, not the bear, the druid. He didn't, I think he went actually bear form this time. Yeah, he's literally sitting in bear form. I pain subbed him as well, but then DH died. What did DH die to?
Kick.
I feel like something hit him top of the... Yeah, he just like took, I don't know, he took a little bit too much damage all of a sudden. Maybe he was out of defenses or something, but yeah, basically just trying to have like burst healing for that, yeah, like try to have like a fat penance. And what I would do is like I would dispel if they're both full, dispel one insta as soon as like they walk out, of course, and then the second one you want to dispel as the you want to dispel like when they're full, so like do your burst healing then dispel. They're dead, then they're dead. Not much you can do. Yep, you just have to make sure they're full when it expires / when you. But yeah, here I want to say like, look how this is like a lot of times I'll die like this. It's like prioritize healing someone else over me. This is, yeah, I should have just focused a little bit more on myself here. I could have lived. I could have also pressed health bot. I had pain sub. I had ways to live, but I just wasn't like ready to be honest. And here again, like I'm late, so people are dying. This is kind of how it goes. And then here, okay, this boss. I heard that a lot of people struggle with this boss. I used to be scared of him. Like one thing that's important to understand about this season, guys, is that a A lot of our power comes from being like a turret. Yeah, we want to be stationary and we want to be spamming smites, and that sometimes means playing like an idiot and being greedy. But you just have to do it. That's the only way you get output from your heals. So the big part of it, like your skill in this season will come from just like the fact that like can you find the time to do this on in every situation that you need to do this. As you can see here, I'm planting, I'm just dispelling one person, just sitting there, and I'm like funneling smites. I'm throwing in my patterns as I'm about to dispel, because that's when the damage comes, so that's where I want to heal everybody. And yeah, obviously guys, one more important thing to note here is that I'm underutilizing barrier a little bit. Like you can definitely like use barrier to help you live here. I personally felt like there was no need, and we were never stacked enough for that. But you see how they're all stacked like on the opposite side here, so that was a perfect place for like a barrier. Like that could have been barrier into dispel. It would have taken way less damage, but luckily, you know, on 27, as you can see, you can get away with it. Not a big deal. You know, planning your cooldowns basically. You want to have like something for every, right? Like luckily we have a gazillion tools this season. So, like what you can do is here I dispel myself. I also should have popped Fade here, but don't. Always use Fade obviously. Very good cooldown, amazing cooldown. We have like, I like to think of them as like 3 sets of cooldowns. We have Barrier, we have 2 Pain Subs, we have Rupture. And obviously, I mean, I'm not counting Mindbender as a cooldown anymore. It used to be a cooldown back in the day, because in there I threw a nice little barrier onto them. That was actually a really nice play. But like Mindbender nowadays is just like I don't know, it's like a baseline. You want to have like high uptime on Mindbender anyway, so it's not really your cooldown. Here I got into a little bit of dicey situation, but I managed to do some honestly nice maneuvering around it. But yeah, anyway, that's how we deal with this. Like I used to struggle with this boss quite a bit, so I hope you know, maybe somebody will find this helpful. You know, I'm just trying to kind of like explain how I'm dealing with it. Obviously, what matters a lot is that people are using cooldowns as you're dispelling. Yeah, that's very important. It matters a lot that people are in the light as soon as possible, because obviously if you dispel them in the dark, you're not gonna have a good time. One more thing I'll note, especially tell this to your DH friends and your like Evoker Hunter friends. I'm not throwing shade, by the way, guys. It's just that these classes have like teleporting abilities and stuff. It is possible if you're moving, especially if you're like disengaging and using these abilities that are moving you and stuff, like charges and whatnot, it's possible to take multiple ticks from that dispel, and that will likely result either in your healer like losing 5 years off of their life due to stress or death. So make sure you tell your friends that. That's something that was baffling to me on start. I didn't understand why some people, like in some groups, people would just insta die, and in some groups, it's free boss. And it hit me later that people have been like taking multiple ticks of the damage. Like they're just running through the wave. So do not let people do that, especially if you're like playing with friends and stuff. Just make sure to tell them to not double dip, because they will likely die, especially if you're pushing high keys. I think everybody that's pushing high keys knows this. Sometimes people tend to forget though, and I see them charging through, but it's worth noting. Yeah, it's worth noting. People need to be aware of that. Anyway, we decided here, I think because we were good on time, or because they didn't have faith in me for some reason, we decided to do 1x1 dragon on Fortified. I think this is fine. Honestly, I'm not sure if I would have been able to handle double dragon without lust. Probably not without lust. Maybe like with the barrier and darkness, it's doable. Yeah, probably it's doable. Yeah, it's not that bad. I've done it once, but that key failed to the last boss, sadly. But I've definitely done it, and it's doable, and you can do it. It's not too crazy, but you just have to find your own limit. I can't say this for you. I'm also pretty geared. Like I have pretty high gear. I'm like 8. What do you call it? Jesus, I forgot. 487, I think. 486, 487 equipped. That's like basically full mythic full Mythic gear pretty much. I mean, sure, there's like a few tiny upgrades that can still be done. One trinket and like back and stuff, but that's not that big portion of the power missing. So it's like it's just like, you know, you have to make like a call for yourself whether you're able to do this or not and communicate it to your team. Obviously, if you're tight on time, it's worth trying anyway, but if you're good on time, as you can see, like, it's not a big time loss. Like, these dragons take like what, like 1 minute or so. And people usually pop cooldowns on them, and as I said, guys, this dungeon is very lenient on time. Yeah, this dungeon, like, you have so much time. I don't know, like, it's weird how this dungeon feels like you have like 5 minutes extra, and then Rise exists where it feels like even if you play perfectly, like, you can barely time it. That's not true either. I will upload a Rise key in the following days as well. I've done like some higher Rise keys as well recently, but definitely a timeable key and playable key. It's not as bad as a lot of people say it is, but it is bad though. It is still very tight. It is frustrating. I've had like, I think at 27 that like we played pretty cleanly and stuff, and we were like just like 3 minutes short, so we did pointless. My point is just like, you just have to make a judgment call for yourself. Anyway, following boss, guys. Very hard boss, by the way, surprisingly. I'll be honest, this boss still confuses me a little bit as well. Every time I think I understand this boss, like, something happens. But basically, what's important for you to know, like, as a healer, is if you get a debuff, you're gonna take a lot of damage and you're gonna start bleeding out as well. You cannot hold it the whole time, otherwise you get mind controlled. So you wanna wait for a little bit, and then you wanna give it to the tank. How much exactly you need to wait, that I do not know. I forgot. I'll be honest, guys, I'll forgot. I think I kind of go off the field, but it's usually about like, I don't know, I try to hold it for like 6, 7, 8 seconds, something like that. And I usually save my defenses for that. Anyway, phase 1 is free, pretty much. Like, if you fail phase 1, then it's hopeless. Don't even bother. But yeah, phase 1 is pretty much free. Second phase is where things kind of get difficult. Yeah, these necrotic winds, one thing I always hated is this, and that doesn't change in this season, is I hate like these winds that move you. Stuff that's always frustrating, and it makes it harder for you to heal. However, it's as you see, it's very doable as long as you're prepared. Yeah, like, as long as you're prepared, it's doable. So I always try to have something running. Same logic as with every other boss, as with previous boss. As I was saying, I'm just gonna repeat myself anyway. Make sure you have like some sort of cooldown running every time. Yeah. So again, I'm underutilizing barrier here. I could have just put barrier and like let people sit in it. And this is just like a rhythm. Like, as long as you see the first tornado, then you just like stutter step a little bit to the left, then you stutter step a bit to the right, then you stutter step back left, and that's it. Dodging tornadoes should never be an issue for higher keys. Pushback is annoying. What you can also do is, I've seen people do this, you can just go to the wall. Like, I've literally seen people do this. Very smart. I've seen people do this in Dark Hard Ticket as well, by the way. You can just go to the wall and you don't get knocked back, and it just kind of like feels better because you're constantly being pushed back and stuff. So you can just kind of like you can just kind of like freely heal, I guess, you know, focus on healing and not walking forward. I don't know. Personally, as a disc, it's not even that bad, right? It's more like mental, I think. For me, it's just annoying because like I have to like walk back a little bit, but realistically, you can walk back every time you cast a penance. Yeah, like every time you penance, you can walk back. And here we actually like bamboozled a little bit. Yeah, so see what happens. Now you see what happens when debuff gets handed to the tank a little bit too soon, I think. Or what happened actually? Yeah, okay, so he held it, and no, this is the new corrosion, I think. Yeah, new corrosion. Yeah, I think that was just new corrosion, and I think that, I don't know. I actually don't know what happened, but basically tank got mind controlled. Yeah, Then gets mind controlled, and then see, like, he just holds it for the full duration. Nobody takes it from him. He doesn't give it to anyone. So he gets MC'd. I'm assuming that Bear died because of... Did he get incinerated or did Tank kill him? I'm not sure actually. That would be like a good thing to check. But regardless, like obviously not having this happen to you is probably priority number one. And yeah, here as you can see, like we start struggling a little bit. Like, fight gets hectic. I'm assuming people are panic also a little bit, and this slowed us down quite a bit. Yeah, slowed us down quite a bit. But it's fine. It's fine. It's not. We recovered. Yeah, recovered. We're continuing the boss fight. It's not a big deal. Gamers can do this. And the druid gets it. He just kind of holds it forever. And then he gets breathed. Unlucky. Yeah, that was kind of funny. That was a little funny. But yeah, the problem when you're playing with Augmentation Evoker, these things that require priority damage. And, like, if one DPS dies and then the other DPS gets like stunned or something, like you just have no damage. I mean, sure, like tanks and healers do damage this season, but it's not nearly enough. Not nearly to the level of one DPS. Like, so as you can see, it's just this just got pretty hectic. This just got pretty hectic. So we used bots here where we shouldn't. So what basically ended up happening is we had to clear things we didn't plan to clear. Again, not a big deal. Again, I do keep saying this dungeon has very lenient timer. It's not that scary. This pack is actually somewhat scary, by the way. Like these dots, they hurt quite a bit. The stone balls, or whatever they're called. And also the spins can kill you, of course, if you don't walk out of them in like almost instantly. As you can see, like 600, 700 damage per tick. So pretty painful. So just gotta make sure that, you know, I'd advise not being stacked, which I know is kind of hard in a tunnel, but yeah. They really should have made these things like smaller, in my opinion. Like if you're gonna put mobs in a tunnel, like why not make them smaller? Like why make them so big? Like, I don't know, that just doesn't make a lot of sense. Wizards with this design, like size of things, doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, still it's an easy mechanic. Just like walk away, like be ready. Like you hit timers when you see them about to cast. Like start pre-walking almost, similar to Everbloom, right? In Everbloom it's even worse. So yeah, I'll kind of like skip this a little bit. This is Crash is just free, and again, we just res here since I said we can't skip. There we res. We have 6 minutes to kill the last boss, and this boss, it's a fun boss. Yeah, like basically the whole idea is you'll get this extinction blast. What I like to do is I like to like give that person an external. Obviously that means pain subs and other externals. We're not paladin to have like 5 externals, so all the paladin is not bad this season. I'm glad we're not paladin this season. You know, here you just throw a little bit of healing. I don't know, if you have barrier, like what I like to do is I'll organize like defensives for people. Like I'll be like, okay guys, now we're gonna do barrier, now we're gonna be doing darkness, now we're gonna be doing this, that, Zephyr, you AMZ. Sometimes you have warrior shout. You'll have something. You always have something. If you don't have something, then like you know, unlucky. You can still make it work. By the way, it's just gonna be harder. Like obviously in high keys, DR gets like a damage reduction gets much higher value than raw throughput stuff. But you know, anything helps. Sometimes all you need is somebody to buy you like 1 extra second, 1 extra cast to keep people alive. This part actually hurts as well. Yeah, looks like so I just like to throw like an atonement on Chromie. You can obviously do like Radiance off of Chromie and then catch with like Power Word Shield whoever is not left. Then as soon as I get out of frontal, I like to plant so I don't like confuse people. You know, it's gonna go left, it's gonna go right. I just get out of it and then I stop. I just like hard stop and stand there, and I let them move out of it. Usually they'll have like 2-3 seconds. See here, I say darkness next. You know, just communicate with your team. Usually people listen to healers because, I mean, we are expected to know how to keep the group alive, so... yeah. And anyway, here you see, you know, Fiction Blast again, so I just like press every defensive in the game. Rupture. And here I was kind of like a little bit, scuffed. A tiny bit scuffed actually, but I made it work. Like, one important thing to note is like you don't wanna, like, you kind of wanna save your like penance for when the damage actually starts, if that makes sense. Like,
shield.
You can just like apply atonements and then spam smite to extend them until the damage hits. So if you like, if you did it, like if you got a little bit too eager like I did there, and you're like, you know, ready for the damage, you're doing things a bit too fast, then you realize, oh wait, damage isn't but yet there. Then what you can do is like, if you have like, I don't know, good like 5-6 seconds, you can definitely like penance and then smite, and you'll get your pens back. But if you want to play it safe, you can just smite. You know, maybe mind blast as well, if you don't want to get like the healing part of it, but you want to like activate your schism, and then wait for the damage to actually start ticking, and then go your penance. It'll be like a giga penance, so chilling. Yeah, that's basically the idea of it. I like to save the Halo to do some area damage here as well, while as healing. You know, just standard stuff. We can actually skip ahead here to the next Extinction Blast, and here it is. So yeah, basically, see, you can use the Rapture to also farm your pain sub back. This. And here, again, we're feeling very safe, right? Because we have barrier up. So just, I press fade, right? Like, it's always good to press fade, I don't know. I switched my, like, talents from that reflective, whatever it's called, crystalline shell talent to the fade pretty much like permanently nowadays.
Shield.
It's just like such a high value having like fade on 20-second cooldown. That means you can have like almost 50% uptime throughout the whole dungeon, by the way, because it's 10 seconds on a 20-second cooldown, so you can literally press it every 20 seconds and you will literally have like a DR for half of the dungeon, which is insane if you think about it. Obviously I don't recommend using it like that. I definitely recommend, you know, planning your defensives, not just press them to have uptime. But it's just something worth noting. Yeah, like, it's a very strong talent. And this is why I said earlier, like, playing Mass Dispel is kind of annoying because we're wasting like precious. You know, we don't want to waste like class, you know, class tree. We have very good talents in the class tree that helps us stay alive, which is the biggest weakness of the spec. So you just kind of want to make sure that you know, you have your survivability up so you can keep people alive. It's not output, like this season throughput for disc is fine, more than fine. Like, we, for the first time I think ever since I started playing this game, I feel like disc actually has like enough healing. It's now it's like just surviving and like actually executing those healing spells. That's the problem. But yeah, there you go. That's the boss. It's honestly pretty easy. Once he goes into that like destruction mode or whatever it's called, it gets pretty easy. You can get giga strong, and you just need to like be patient. As you've seen, I've even had like multiple Shadow Fiends there at some point. That's how crazy it is. I want to see here if I'll show you guys the damage breakdown. No, I don't actually. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Get it, guys? I want to show like damage breakdown. Yeah, like, this is kind of like what you expect. Now, keep in mind, some of this might be skewed by the last boss. I don't, because the last boss like buffs us a lot, so it makes things scale differently. But this is kind of like what your breakdown should look like. Obviously, if you have some damage trinkets, you can expect them to be like here, like third, fourth, fifth, depending on which one it is. Extinction Blast, by the way, guys, really good. This weapon, I mean, I got lucky. I got this in Vault, I think, week 1 or 2 on Mythic track. Like, I have to say, I got giga lucky with that. That weapon is insane, by the way. Also, Biz stats, yeah, haste, versatility, really nice. That is big. And then, you know, like, okay, part of this, like, Breath of Eons, that Poker stuff. And I can say, like, I think I used like one shocking disclosure. It gave me like very little damage. Shocking disclosure, like this late into the expansion, honestly feels a bit underwhelming. I've been using more and more like potion of ultimate power because I feel like shocking disclosure has not really delivered much. Maybe on some like dungeons where we do like giga pulls, but honestly, what dungeon do you really do big pulls? Maybe Everbloom. That's about it. Yeah. Maybe Blackrock Hide as well, but then you're padding because all the big pulls, like there are priority targets in them, so it's like you're just padding. Like just, I think at this point, like Potion of Ultimate Power is just better because primary stats scales better than just this raw AoE damage. But yeah, that's the breakdown, guys. I just wanted to show you. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. You know, make sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. If you're enjoying the content, I will definitely be uploading a little bit more, and looking forward to posting some guides. Thank you guys for the support. I appreciate it. You can also follow my Twitch, Shield Coomer. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.